So what started off as a low-key general election looks like producing one of the highest turnouts in recent years.
We know it'll be close, with lots of voters still undecided. Andrew's back. Let's start with Trust. Have we been won over?
Well, I think this election has certainly engaged voters. Whether they've been won over or not is another matter. For the last 6 months or so, Look East and The Politics Show has been following a group of floating voters to see what they've made of the party's various policies. We've caught up with them again today to see what they've made of this election.
I've been sort of waiting to be really sort of grabbed by what's going on, and I feel that hasn't really happened.
The debt. No one spoke about it at all. No one's really put their finger on how they're going to tackle it, what's got to be done. We all know something pretty drastic's got to be done.
They haven't come clean. If they'd have told us what they wanted and let us debate that, but no, they're not. They all try to hide the same things. I don't even think they know what they're going to do themselves.
I think the campaign's been very interesting. It's been quite gripping, and I think obviously this election is quite an important one. So I think the whole country's been quite gripped by it.
The interesting bit that's different to previous years is obviously the live debates, and I think they've been very interesting to watch the personalities develop and start to really get a feel for the leaders of the different parties.
One of the lows are in fact the debates, because I feel the elections rather succumb to looking at personalities.
I think there's a lot of apathy still from the voting public. They won't come out and vote, partly because of confidence with the expenses scandal.
I think there's a real possibility of a hung parliament, and that's the biggest concern that I have.
A hung parliament would be a disaster for the country completely.
If we had a hung parliament, then they're going to have to talk to each other, listen. Of course, there's going to be some sort of compromise, but then there might be a chance for some of the sideline parties who you wouldn't necessarily want to see running the country, but say the Green Party, I'd like to see them having a say on things like, environmental issues, that sort of thing, so we actually get some real change.
And of our People's Panel, about 3/4 have decided how to vote. The other quarter are still making up their minds.
Come on then, so what is going to happen tomorrow?
Well, I think it's going to be very tight in a number of seats, and I think after tomorrow we'll see some constituencies with very small majorities. The Conservatives sent out an appeal for volunteers today to go and help them in Waveney, Luton and Northampton North, which suggests that things are close there. I also understand that things could be getting quite interesting in Norwich South and Ipswich. But of course we don't know. But a lot of the parties are on tenterhooks tonight. They really feel they're going to have some close fights.
And this is because so many people are still undecided.
Yes, and this is what's really spooking the parties. We've never been in this position before, so close to an election, where so many voters are saying we don't know how we're going to vote. Labour are braced for losses tomorrow, but they're hoping that a lot of these undecided voters will come to them at the very last minute. The Tories, who were very confident a few months ago that they would sweep the board, are now very much more jumpy tonight.
Andrew, thank you very much.
Lots of things have happened in the 5 years since the last election. Apart from anything else, the population of our region has gone up by at least 220,000 people.
So lots of extra voters, and some of them have never stepped inside a polling station before. If you haven't, this is for you.
The real X factor is putting an X on the ballot paper beside the person who will secure your future.
Thank you very much indeed.
It's the last-minute dash, the final countdown. Soon, it will be down to you. But how do you vote? We have a returning officer, a first-time voter, and a mock-up of a polling station to help us.
It's the final countdown.
The polling stations are open from 7 in the morning till 10 at night. It's handy to have your official polling card, but it's not absolutely necessary.
There's nothing to worry about, nothing to be cautious about.
Most likely you'll be met by 2 people sitting at a desk. They're here to help you. One person will check your name and address and cross you off a list. The other person will hand you a ballot paper, which will look like this.
You then go into a little booth to cast your vote in secret.
However, if you are somebody who needs some assistance, again, there's the ability for the presiding officer at the polling station, that's the person running the polling station, to make sure you're afforded the correct level of assistance.
In this election, you can only vote for one person.
Yeah, you can. There's a whole raft of different electoral systems, but in this election, you can vote for one person.
Mark your ballot paper with a cross, not a tick. If you make a mistake, you can ask for another ballot paper.
Is when the ballot papers are all counted, if they're ones where there's a question over is it clear what the resident intended, then I get to adjudicate over that with the political parties and say actually the intention is clear here.
And when you've put a cross in the box, you simply fold your ballot paper and pop it in the ballot box. Soon, it will be down to you. Cameron, Clegg or Brown, UKIP, Green, BNP or Independent. You will decide who has the X Factor.
And of course the BBC will be covering the election results on TV, on radio and online. Here we have extended breakfast bulletins on Friday morning, plus a results programme from 9 until 9:30, presented by Susie. Your BBC local radio stations are running results programmes through the night, and there'll be instant updates on the BBC website.
Great.